Hey guys, and welcome to Basic Banking Uncovered. So, today, what I'm going to be discussing is the very hot topic of credit. Now, when I say credit, I don't mean, how do you get a loan? What I'm going to be going over is your credit bureau and credit history. Now, I want to start off by saying I'm actually not a credit expert. I don't know everything about how credit works, and to this day, Canadian credit is still a mystery to me. And so, first and foremost, I want to start off by saying that credit history in Canada is integral to so much of what we do. If you want to rent an apartment, for example, you need to pull your credit a lot of times because landlords want to see that you have a reliable history of repayment. If you want to buy a property, absolutely. If you need to borrow money, if you want to get a credit card, and a credit card can mean you want to be able to book flights, you want to be able to book a car, go on vacation, etc. For those who are just starting out, maybe in their early teens, or that's generally when I find people screw up their credit history the most. So if I have anybody who is watching who's in that age range, please take what I'm saying very seriously and please be responsible with the credit that you're extended. Please pay your bills on time and please pay your minimum payments. It takes about, I would say, 6 months to destroy your credit versus it probably takes about 5 to 10 years to build it back up. What I want to go over today is some credit myths versus fact. So, fact, every time you pull your credit bureau, it drops you down a few points. If you're pulling your credit every so often, it's not that big a deal because the strange thing about credit history is in order to gain credit history, you have to pull your credit bureau. But let's say you've been declined for some kind of credit facility and then you go and you pull it again the next month. And then you say you got declined for that, but you want to pull it again because you want to find out if you'll get approved elsewhere. And then you pull it again and again and again. That's really going to impact you. And that's actually going to make it worse on you because every time you're pulling it, you're knocking yourself a few points further. And you're just making it harder for that lender to approve you because it's causing suspicion. A myth that people have is that, oh, I have a really high amount of credit available to me. That's really problematic and that will cause me issues on my credit bureau. That's not true. What is problematic is if you have high utilization. So what high utilization means is, let's say you have a credit available to you on your credit card of $2,000. And on average, you're spending about $1,800 to $1,900 per month. And so your credit card is always teetering on this balance. You're using about 80 to 90% of your available credit, let's say. That's bad because essentially your utilization is really, really high in comparison to the amount of credit that has been extended to you. Let's say on the flip side, though, that you have a credit card limit available to you of $10,000, and on average you're using that amount that I was talking about, which was $1,800 to $1,900. You are actually going to rank higher than that person who had the lower credit limit because of the fact that your utilization is now only about 10 to 20% on average of that credit card. So again, low utilization is much better than having high utilization and lower credit. So let's say a lender offers you a high credit limit. You can always lower it and you don't have to take as high a credit limit, but do remember that you don't want to lower it so much that you're always at that ceiling because that's going to impact your credit history. And oftentimes it's very, very rare that if you have a high amount of credit available to you, but you're not using it, that it's going to impact your score. The other thing I want to mention is the main two providers in Canada of credit history are Equifax and TransUnion. If you want to pull your credit, I would say they're the most reliable. If you're trying to fix your credit history, they're going to be the people you have to go to. And if there's some kind of blemish or fraud on your credit, they're the people you're going to want to go to get that fixed because they are the main providers and they are what most lenders are going to be using to pull your credit bureau. So as I said, I'm really not an expert on credit history, but I thought this would be a good post because people are always asking about their credit history and credit bureau and how it works. So as always, please feel free to drop comments, questions, and I'm going to try and attach some links for you to look at in terms of Equifax and TransUnion. Thanks again for tuning in.